Hey there, Seb by the Realtor here. If you're thinking about selling your house, you've probably heard that there's a change to the way that buyers brokers are paid. Several weeks into these changes, if you're wondering how it's actually all playing out in reality, you definitely want to watch this video. All right, well, I'm sure you've heard the news, right? The cat's out of the bag. Everybody has heard about it, that big blockbuster commission lawsuit, right? Which spelled the end of the 6% standard commission, right? So under the old system that we've had now for decades, at least going back to the 1980s, realtors would encourage their sellers to make blanket offers of compensation to buyer's agents that said, listen, if a buyer's agent brings an offer, the buyer's agent is going to get compensated X percent or X number of dollars if the deal successfully closes, right? Well, there was a lawsuit about that saying, hey, well, sellers shouldn't have to do that. But the lawsuit brought around, a significant change in the way that things are done here in the real estate world. Realtors can no longer offer any compensation through the multiple listing service to a buyer's agent. They can offer compensation through other means. You could put like a flyer at the property. You could put a rider to the real estate sales sign. You could, email agents about that, but you could not, make a blanket offer of compensation through the multiple listing service. But a lot of sellers, read the headlines and said, hey, this means that I'm going to be paying less commission when I sell my house. And certainly that was what a lot of the media were saying. They were saying, hey, listen, this is the end of paying 6% or 5% or whatever it may have been in your area. That's no more because, sellers no longer have to pay buyer's agent. So I've had, several listings now go under contract in the past few weeks under these new rules. And here's how it's going. It's going kind of like how I expected it to go. So every offer that has come in on the properties that I have been negotiating so far, every single offer has been presented by a buyer's agent. And every single time that buyer's agent the buyer actually in the offer has asked that the seller pay compensation to the buyer's agent, like it always has been for the entire 21 plus years now that I've been doing real estate. They've been wanting the seller to pay the buyer's agent. So a lot of sellers were expecting that buyers would no longer be wanting the seller to pay the buyer's agent, or that there would be a lot of unrepresented buyers, or there would be buyers who are working with a la carte, cheap agents or something like that, where, they don't need much, if any, compensation at all, or the buyer would just be paying, like an hourly fee or like a per property flat fee or something like that to rate an offer. I don't know. Maybe those business models are coming, and maybe you'll start to find some buyers who are working with those kind of agents. But so far, here we are. We're just a little bit over a month into these new rules now. And that is not how it's shaking out so far. But there has been a little bit of a change. So, for example, with one of my listings that went into contract, we got, 6, 7, 8 offers, something like that. And the three top offers, they were all the exact same price. But one of the offers, one of the agents took 0.5% less, or the buyer asked the seller to pay 0.5% less in commission to that buyer's broker, right? So because the price was $2.2 million, that is like $11,000, right? So that's not nothing, right? So the seller did, in fact, save $11,000. They didn't save, anywhere near as much maybe as they wanted to save, because I'm sure they would wanted to have paid the buyer's broker anything. But the seller raised a good point as part of that negotiating process. She said, hey, why don't these buyers who have hundreds of thousands, they're showing millions of dollars in their proof of funds, right? These buyers are very, flush with cash, shall we say. Why don't these buyers just pay their agent directly? Because if the buyers just paid the agent directly, then you would have a lower sale price, which would result in a lower tax rate. It would result in a lower transfer tax. And it would also result in a lower commission paid to me, the listing agent, right? So I would like lose like, whatever it is, $1,000 or $2,000, right? Because there would be a lower sale price, and that would help the seller end up, saving even more money. But it might also end up helping the buyer save more money in some of these incremental costs down the road, right? So they might have like a little bit less property tax, right? That kind of thing. But nevertheless, the seller basically ended up paying almost the same as she would have underneath the old rules, but she did save that 0.5%. She did save that $11,000, and that is not nothing. Now, I have another listing right now, and we're taking offers on it as we speak, and all of those offers are coming in with the seller paying a buyer's broker, right? And interesting thing is that a few days ago, last week sometime, I guess it was, a person called me up. They said, "Hey, I'm interested in buying that property," and I said, "Okay, well, are you working with an agent?" And that person said, "No, I'm not, but I actually hold a real estate license. I'm not actually actively working in real estate, but I do have a license," right? So that person could theoretically represent themselves, right? So in a situation like this is setting the seller up for a perfect situation where don't have to pay the buyer a commission because the buyer themselves is the agent. So what sellers really care about, what sellers have always cared about and will continue to care about far into the future is how much money do they get at the end of the day? Which offer actually nets them the most amount of money? And not to say that they will take that offer, because there are other important considerations as well, like the terms, how fast they're going to close and all that good stuff, what contingencies there may be. The sellers have always cared about the commission. So like when I am writing up an offer for a buyer, I don't call the agent and say, "Hey, by the way, is the seller offering anything?" I don't do that, because how much the buyer gets paid is not actually, controlled by how much the seller may be offering anyway. And that is how it is going about 1 month into these changed business practices. And it could be, like I say, in the future, it could be that there will be new business models, or, who knows what's going to happen in the future that could be bringing down these requests for the seller to pay compensation. But, the best buyers out there, the ones who aren't really looking to lowball anybody, right? The really competitive buyers, they're going to continue to work with agents, and those agents are going to continue to get paid. They're probably going to continue to get paid something pretty similar to what they've been paying in years past. But I maintain an open mind about that, and we will see how it goes. And if anything starts to change, you'll be the first to know, because you are going to be a subscriber to Seb Frey TV, and you will hear about it if you click that notification every time I put up a new video. All right, well, that is all I have for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have enjoyed it, I'm guessing, totally just a guess, you might also enjoy some of these videos over here. These are some of the most popular videos here on my YouTube channel, so please do take a look. All right, that's all I have for this one. Thank you so very much for watching, and please stay tuned.